Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to present this morning on some of the work that we've completed in ocean accounting. I'd just like to acknowledge Reese, Anthony, and Bianca for their contributions to these slides. The primary driver of this work came from Parks Australia and also the Department of Environment at the national level. So there were two groups. Parks Australia were interested in creating structured environmental, cultural, social and economic information to contribute to their MERI framework, which they use for the ongoing management of marine parks. From a general point of view, the federal government and the Australian government are a part of the high-level panel for sustainable ocean economy, and they're interested in the possible contribution of environmental accounting to that. And then the final element was the Department of Environment was interested in how applicable the SEIA, Environmental Economic Accounting, and also the technical guidance on ocean accounting was to MERI and the consideration of the management of marine parks across Australia. The park area is in the lower southwest corner of Western Australia. It's approximately 200 to 300 kilometres south of Perth, and it's quite popular for tourism and other cultural activities. You can see from this map the blue sort of square shaded area was the area that we were studying. What's of interest in this map is that there is a national park zone, a habitat protection zone, a multiple use zone, and special purpose zones. So there are a number of institutions that are responsible for the management of the areas. And so considering the relationship between the ecosystems across these areas was quite an important element of the project. In the first part of the project, we spent quite a bit of time with the government and local stakeholders creating this conceptual diagram of the park. And the idea of this was to try and represent all the different elements. So we have ecosystems in here, we have cruise ships, we have research vessels, we have whale watching, seagrasses. There are many different elements, and was just to ensure that once we embarked on data collection and the creation of accounts and tables, that we considered these elements and we could create a narrative around these elements. And I'll return to that later in the presentation. The key foundation for conducting the work is we start with the core accounting model, which includes these four circles: ecosystem assets by size and type, their condition, the potential services, and then the monetary and non-monetary benefits. We undertook an accounting or data inventory, which would then align all the data that's possible with either asset, type, condition, and services. The National Statistics Office was also involved, and they have a data quality statement. So we also had to put the data through that data quality statement and report back to the federal government. There was a lot of high quality data, but there were various issues when producing the accounting because there were gaps in the data, and the data wasn't necessarily designed to perform accounting. And the detail of those recommendations can be found in the final synthesis report, which is available on the web. A key output that was required from the project was a number of infographics. This one is the first one that's actually, you can see, is based on the core model. So we have the assets, conditions, services, and benefits. But the idea is try to communicate some of this complex information so that the stakeholders can understand what is happening. Within the condition element, you can see there's like a little set of scales there at the bottom, and it's labeled ecologically sustainable use. And this is one of the premises of Parks Victoria, is how do they tell an ecologically sustainable use story. So trading off between the condition indices and activities whilst maintaining these services and benefits. This is the next infographic. We can see here in the top left we still have the ecosystem assets, and so it was dominated by seagrass and sand areas, which was linked then to the park itself. What's of interest, though, is on the management zones, you can see that the seagrass is distributed across different institutions in the top right-hand corner. And down the bottom, then, we have a number of panels, and we've represented the services by sort of stacking the different services in different ways. And not all of these services were valued in monetary terms for this particular project. One of the key challenges of the project, and particularly for Parks Victoria, is communicating or creating a narrative around the multiple values that the marine resources provide. You can see here that we've coloured the boxes slightly differently, and there's a key within the larger document which describe the managers, the ecosystem assets, conditions and services. And we can see here that there's a relationship between the manager, Parks Australia, the fishing industry, the consumer at the end of the day, and also between the two ecosystems on the left-hand side, where seagrass meadows provide intermediate services to rocky reefs and vice versa. In summary, using the environmental economic accounting, it was possible to structure the information and contribute to Parks Australia's MERI program. It also improved the understanding of how ocean accounts can assist in sustainable management of the marine resources, and it was clear that the technical guidance on ocean accounting and the SIA are very applicable to being able to account for marine resources. Thank you for your time and enjoy the workshop.